Hi, my name is Jiva. I'm here to give a brief introduction about the Marcet Boiler and the precaution when handling with the boiler. Okay, this experiment was carried out to determine the relationship between pressure and the temperature of a saturated steam in an equilibrium state. So Marcet Boiler was used in this experiment. Marcet Boiler is a unique demonstration of basic principle in thermodynamic studies, which is the boiling phenomena. Marcet Boiler is also used for the understanding of basic properties of saturated steam to a superheated steam. When the pressure increases, the temperature also increases. So the relationship between the pressure and the temperature is directly proportional to each another. This experiment also used to demonstrate the vapor pressure curve. The measured values of graphs of can be compared with the theoretical value, which is obtained through the calculation by using the Clapeyron equation. Okay, now the precaution when handling this boiler is there are four main precautions when handling this Marcet boiler. The first one is always check the leakage of air, water, steam at any suspension place. And the second one is make sure that all the parts are insulated and do not touch with your bare hands because it is extremely hot. And the third one is make sure that the boiler are not restricted by any obstructions such as papers, clothes and so on. And the last one but not the least one, carry out the inspection and maintenance regularly, includes its accessory and valve to check whether the parts or valves are cracks or got any leakages.
Okay, hi, my name is Fahiezul. So, for the purpose of this experiment is to study the relationship between the pressure and temperature of saturated steam in equilibrium with water. We also need to understand the concept between pressure and temperature steam in equilibrium with water. Finally, the most crucial objective is to obtain the saturated pressure curve. Marcet boiler has been developed for investigating the relationship between pressure and temperature. Thermodynamics deals only with large-scale response of a system that observe and measured in experiment. Small gases interaction are described by the kinetic theory of gases, including absolute pressure, volume, absolute temperature. And the relationship between them are called ideal gas law, which is PV equals to nRT. When energy increases within water, the increasing of activities will increase number of molecules escape from the surface. State of equilibrium depends on pressure between the water surface and the steam. Temperature at equilibrium is called saturated temperature.
Hi, my name is Nazirul. So today I'm going to show you about the equipment of the Marcet boiler. So this equipment is a stainless steel with an electrical heater control panel. So first we go to the control panel. So at first we must turn on the main switch and we must turn on the heater to heat up the boiler. But make sure when you fill up this part, if you turn on this part, you need to fill up the water until it reaches a certain level, then it can be turned on. If not, it will be overheated. So this is the temperature indicator. So you can just determine the temperature of the boiler by just referring to this indicator. Then this is a pressure indicator. You can set at what indicator. Now is at 180 atm. And then this temperature indicator also is equipped with the maximum temperature, so you can control the maximum temperature. So at the first, this is a water inlet, water feed port. So the water will come in from here, going to the V2, which is going into the heater and boiler. And the V3 is the place where the steam is coming out from here. So at this section, this is the part where we can see the water level, as we cannot see what is inside here. So this is a temperature sensor, and this is a pressure safety reading valve.
Hi, my name is Arif, and today I'll be explaining the procedure for this experiment. First, we will have to open all the valves, valve 1, valve 2 and valve 3. Next, we fill in the boiler through the feed port and fill it to about half of the boiler. This can be seen from the level side tube from this other side of the boiler. Next, we turn on the main switch where we can see the temperature and the pressure. Then we set the temperature to about 185 degrees Celsius, which is the boiling temperature of the water at 10 bar. Next, we close valve 2 and valve 1. This is because we want to protect the level side tube from the high temperatures of the boiler. Next, we switch on the heater, and then we allow the water inside the boiler to be heated up to the boiling point. This can be seen at the exit valve, where steam will come out. So we let the steam come out for 30 seconds, so to ensure all the water is being boiled. Then we close the valve, and then we can start the recording the pressure and the temperature. Then we record the temperature. We record until the pressure reaches about 10 bars, and then we turn off the heater. And again, we carry on recording the temperature and the pressure until it cools down to about 100 degrees Celsius.
My name is Ashleigh Chua, and I'll be talking about the discussion part of this experiment. Before the experiment was conducted, it is vital to remove the air from the boiler. This is because air might affect the accuracy of the experimental results. If air is not removed, the correct equilibrium measurement between the steam and boiling water will not be obtained. Due to the partial pressure of air, a lower water temperature will be required to raise the pressure. Besides, the air trap may lead to boiler failure. Next, the graphs of temperature against absolute pressure will be displayed on the screen. It can be seen that they are directly proportional to each other. In the case of the graphs of experimental and theoretical values, there is a slight deviation in the beginning of the experiment. This may be due to the boiler at the beginning of the experiment. There are other several sources of error of the experiment, such as measurement, reading accuracy, and so on.
Hello, my name is Tania. I'm going to explain the conclusion for the experiment. So the device that we use in order to study the relation in between pressure and temperature for water at saturated liquid phase is Marcet Boiler. During the laboratory, heating the water with constant pressure was started until it reached the boiling point. To keep the volume constant, it is essential to close the valve as we reach boiling point to make sure that it is already in constant volume process. Otherwise, the pressure will be not increased and the experiment will be useless. For the recommendation part, we should repeat the experiment about 2 or 3 times in order to get more accurate data and result, and the calculating an average of total data from each experiment for the best result. Thank you.